All right, here to talk about some eccentric overload training. Look, the muscle you want to gain in the gym is myofibillar hypertrophy, okay? The actual contractile tissues, the actin, the myosin. That's the hypertrophy you want to build. Myofibillar hypertrophy, not sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. What's associated with sarcoplasmic hypertrophy? Standard training. Your typical 3 sets, 10 to 12 reps at 65%. Even when you lift heavier at 80% or 85%, you do 3 sets of, let's say, 3 to 5, 5 to 8. When you go a little heavier, that still will build some sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. It'll build a little more myofibillar hypertrophy, but mainly sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. You could look at all these studies. Look at all the studies that suggest any training, and that has to do with sarcoplasmic or myofibillar. All of those studies indicate that training, standard training, increases more sarcoplasmic hypertrophy than myofibillar hypertrophy. Very minimal myofibillar growth. That's why it's so slow when naturals train. It's so slow for them to build myofibillars because they're mainly growing sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. That's the glycogen in the muscle. Nobody knows about this. Everybody thinks that if they follow the advice of these lifters on YouTube, the naturals, Mike Israel, that they will grow more muscle. Yes, you'll grow muscle, but it's going to be sarcoplasmic. It's going to be artificial muscle. It is not going to be the actual contractile tissue. How do you grow this muscle? How do you grow the myofibrils? You have to create muscle damage. Yes, I know there's studies out there. There's studies out there that suggest you can grow muscle without muscle damage. Okay, what kind of hypertrophy is it? Is it sarcoplasmic or myofibillar? Most of the time, actually all the time, it's gonna be sarcoplasmic. You look at all these studies, blood flow restriction, high volume training, it's gonna say this. Yes, you could build muscle without muscle damage. What they forget to tell you is the type of muscle. It's going to be sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Like I said, like I'm saying over and over again, the only way to build your myofibillar hypertrophy, the only way is to create muscle damage. How do you create muscle damage? Mechanical tension. Mechanical tension is associated with muscle damage. What happens when you get more advanced and it's harder to damage your muscles? I said in the previous video, you have the repeated bout effect that protects you from further muscle damage as you get more and more advanced. How do you break through that? Eccentric overload training. Why? It's a weight your muscles are unaccustomed to, 100 to 130% of your max, that you do only on the eccentric phase for multiple reps. That will damage your muscle. That will stimulate max growth factors. Very strong growth. It's gonna stimulate the growth factors very strongly, rather than standard training. Moderately stimulate those growth factors. So I'm tired of these influencers on YouTube. Everybody on YouTube, Mike Israel, that's telling you how to train. They don't know how to train. They don't know what hypertrophy they're getting. Okay, when you see a study and it says blah blah, this training builds, it's going to help with hypertrophy. Okay, what kind of hypertrophy? There's 2 different muscle hypertrophy. You got sarcoplasmic and myofibrillar. You guys have to know about this, because you guys are being fed the wrong information. You guys are training wrong. Everybody in the gym is training wrong. When you're lifting, you're doing a weight. Okay, you're doing 3 sets of 10. Your muscles have already adapted to that eccentric load. You need to damage it. Yes, okay, look, you could damage it with that weight that you're using at 65% of your max. But when you're advanced, you would need to do so much more volume to get some more damage. You would need to do like 10 sets of that motherfucker. So what would you need to do to cut down that time? Well, you do eccentric overload training, which is supra maximal loads. You only need to do about 3 or 4 sets of this for about 5 to 8 reps. That's gonna damage your muscles. You're gonna get DOMs. You have to wait 7 days to train that muscle again. Oh yeah, I'm saying 1 day a week that you train a muscle. Now the studies that show that training twice a week is better than once a week, we'll look at the type of training they're doing. In those studies, they're doing standard training once a week. Obviously, if you do standard training twice a week, it's gonna be better than once a week. But I'm not talking about doing standard training. I'm talking about doing eccentric overload training. Every study that shows that puts eccentric overload against standard training, eccentric overload training wins all the time when it comes to myofibillar hypertrophy. I don't know what I'm gonna name this video. I just wanted to go on this little rant. I just want to share my thoughts about this topic. I'm here to help. I'm gonna start posting some studies and I'm going to start explaining to you guys what the study shows. But yeah, try it out. Try out some eccentric overload. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Thank you. Peace.